the Republican debates we had this year, they applauded for the idea of letting a sick man without insurance die. Herman Cain got cheers for saying he'd electrify the border fence. They booed a gay man serving his country in the military. No wonder 14-year-old boys can do your act. You act exactly like 14-year-old boys. There's no ideology here. It's just about being a
The most famous 14-year-old boy to thrill Republican conservatives was Jonathan Krohn, who spoke to CPAC in 2009.
In the book, I define conservatism, and as I believe it is fit, upon 4 categories of principle: respect for the Constitution, respect for life, less government, and personal responsibility.
Needless to say, young Jonathan got rave reviews.
He could be the next Sean Hannity and the future of the GOP, but he can't even vote until 2016.
Political prodigy and proud conservative Jonathan Krohn.
At age 14, he's 14 years old. He's one of the GOP's up-and-comers, named one of the most influential people of 2009 by Time magazine. He is also author of Define Conservatism. He's 14 years old.
But that was then. And now Jonathan Krohn is 17 years old, and he has, to say the least, matured. He likes The Daily Show, he reads The New Yorker, he'll be a freshman at New York University this year, and he will be very comfortable to live in a state where same-sex marriage is legal. Joining me now for his first post-conservative TV interview is Jonathan Krohn, author of Define Conservatism. Jonathan, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I have to tell you, I'll never forget seeing your video at CPAC a few years ago, and I thought, wow, that kid is really bright, really smart. He's very poised in front of a microphone. But I just thought it made me feel a little bit bad that a kid that young had his thinking all locked in on everything, and it turns out your thinking wasn't so locked in.
Yeah, I mean, I've really changed. I think that for me, politics isn't really being about being a part of an ideology or being a part of a party. It's about just being yourself and what you feel is right. I don't think I have all the answers then. I don't think I have all the answers now. I don't think anybody has all the answers at any point in their life. I just feel that it was naive of me to really think that I knew everything then and not open my mind to the possibility of other things being correct.
Well, I got to tell you, every 14-year-old I've known seems to think they know everything. And it is true that by the time you're headed to freshman year in college, you realize, whoa, this university has a lot of stuff that I don't know. And so I'm glad you're entering NYU with exactly the right kind of open mind. And this is not to say that you've moved over to becoming a liberal, is it?
No, I mean, I have a lot more left-leaning ideas than right-leaning ideas, I guess, now. But I just don't want to be boxed in. I mean, maybe it's just having what I call label phobia. I don't want to be labeled as anything. And maybe I'll get over that and call myself something at some point. But I just don't want to be called anything. Sure, I have more left-leaning ideas now, and I've talked about that recently. But I don't want to be called this ideology or that ideology. I just want to be able to talk about my ideas. And I don't think I've got it all figured out, so why box myself in now?
Right, and your development in this started with slipping away from what you call the social conservative ideas.
Yeah, I mean, that's really where it started. I mean, part of what happened was after the second book came out when I was about 14, I really started reading philosophy, you know, and I've mentioned that, you know, Kant, Hegel, Schopenhauer, Nietzsche, and then I started getting into people like Kripke and Chalmers and lots of people. But I really gave myself a breather from politics and let myself get away from that in order to just see what I believe now. And then when I revisited everything else, I realized, you know, I don't really agree with everything I wrote then. So I should just move on. And the first thing to go was really my social conservative ideas, because they just seemed so regimental, so structured, so dogmatic, and I didn't want to be a part of that. That was the most dogmatic part of it. And I don't like being so in such a place that's so it's so it suppresses me. I mean, it really just makes me feel like I have to agree with this, or I'm not a part of anything, or I'm a bad person. I don't want to be a part of that. I'd rather just have my ability to have my opinion on any issue I want. And so I left and started having more socially liberal positions after that.
Jonathan, if we weren't running out of time, which we are, I'd have to end the interview right now because you've already cited more philosophers than you've read than I have read, and so you're now officially you're out of my depth. You're way over my head. Jonathan Krohn, welcome to New York when you get here. Congratulations on your thinking and your opening of your mind, and thank you very much for joining me tonight. And I'm glad you got the last word.
Thank you.